Omelette has as a guest this morning Brock Peters. He's going to be in the new filmed version of the play Lost in the Stars that will be released in Louisville this coming fall. This is a play that's really based on a book that was written some 25 years ago, but still, do you feel it's relative for today's situation?
Well, I'm hopeful that it is. Its setting is South Africa, and it deals with a one-to-one situation. It deals with a man's dilemma who has embraced another religious ethic and the beliefs of another society. And I think that's always relevant, whatever the backdrop is. It may not be relevant enough for activists and militants, etc., but in human terms, it is indeed a real work.
What was it like adjusting to doing serious drama for film?
Well, it's not been my first experience doing serious drama for film. But this piece, which I had done previously in New York and other cities as a musical, was a special experience. Transferring from stage to screen and making the adjustment and doing the review that one had to do to bring reality in other forms to the piece, of course, took a lot of work, a lot of close work with the director, a lot of review of the concept and the intention and what we wanted the character to be and how it should develop and what his final disintegration is about. We had to find the clear way of describing it so that it was not a total mystery to an audience seeing it, but it was a clear experience for them.
Change the subject a little bit. You've probably been asked this several times, but what's your opinion of the current wave of black movies?
Well, I'm not terribly happy about them. I feel that they are, as they've been described, blaxploitation films. I think that what is really needed are films that describe the aspirations, the dreams, and hopes of black people and their experiences in this country. There is always room for adventure film and perhaps exploitation film, but not to the exclusion of the real experiences of people. And we have an opportunity that, or at least establishment producers and production houses and distribution houses have an opportunity to do something that is real in our time, and they seem to be passing it by.
How long do you think the surge will last? I mean, there are more and more coming out all the time. How long do you think the peak will remain?
Only as long as it takes for black people who are seeing these films to discover that they're now accustomed to seeing themselves in the winning position against the establishment, the fantasy of that. Once they've gotten past that moment, they'll begin to demand something deeper in the way of a motion picture experience that describes their lives. Incidentally, this gives me an opportunity to talk about the fact that I have just co-produced a film with another actor, Michael Tolan, which is to be released by another company, United Artists, and it's a family film written by a chap named Charlie Russell, and it's a warm, humorous, and poignant thing which really describes the internal problems of a family, of a black family. And it's the first of its kind. It's contemporary.
It reminds me a little bit of Sounder, and I wonder if a lot of blacks were putting that down. In other words, they would not go see it because I've heard the comments, well, we've had enough of that. We learned about that from our grandmamas and granddaddies. What's your opinion?
That may or may not have been true. I think there's always room for a kind of film like Sounder, which describes in poignant terms the realities of a not too distant past and something that is really still present in areas of our country. My own film, or our own film, Mike's and mine, is contemporary. And as I say, the internal problems are those of today within that family, and I think that people can and will identify with it, black people and white people as well.
Do you see more advantages and opportunities for blacks in live stage drama today, not just in all black plays, but in an integrated basis?
Where all black plays are concerned, if I may address myself to that first, because there are so many theater groups that have sprung up in the, if you will, ghetto areas of our major cities, there is a great deal of opportunity, principally for black playwrights as well as for black actors, but that is of itself sometimes a dead end. The talent doesn't often get past that stage. There's no place for them to go. As far as the larger theatrical community is concerned, it is dwindling so rapidly in terms of commercial theater that I'm not sure that we can describe a permanent hope for passage through the eye of a needle onto the main stages of our country. I am not really sure. The fabulous invalid is very close to dead.
What do you think will be the response on the part of blacks for your coming film, this one we're talking about today, Lost in the Stars? In other words, is it going to appeal to a small segment?
Well, if I use my experience with the production that I did on Broadway, I would say it will appeal to a large segment of blacks. One, because it's nonviolent, in the sense that it does not deal with violence as we have seen it exploited in the current spate of black films, but it deals with the dilemmas and inner problems of a man who is caught in the society that is one that exercises apartheid. Hopefully, they will respond to and be affected by what they see, and that it will have the deeper meaning that is there for them. But in terms of a militant projection, it's not there, and if that's what is required by most black people, they're not going to get that. What
are you very interested in producing? You mentioned this, that you have just produced with a co-companion.
With Michael Tolan. It's called Five on the Black Hand Side for United Artists. I would certainly be interested in producing all kinds of other things that describe the experience and the contribution of black people to Western civilization. There are so many important figures in history that have been bypassed, overlooked, and that most of our population is not aware of, and that includes blacks as well as whites.
One final question. What advice would you give to a young black youngster that wants to go into film? Would you encourage them, or what would you say would be the best approach?
It really depends on what the question is asked by the youngster. I've had the question asked of me many times. Sometimes it takes the form of, what should I do to become a star? And of course, there really isn't an answer to that, and it usually describes for me that their interest is quite superficial, that they're after the dough and the fame, and they really don't care about what the acting or the playwright has to say or anything like that. So I have a kind of answer for them, and then when I get a more a solid kind of question, I give the more solid response, which does carry with it some encouragement.
Thank you, Brock Peters, for being with us on Omelette. We'll be right back after this.